Hey everybody, how you doing? First of all, I'd like to thank all of my viewers for watching the videos without me posting for the last, oh my goodness, it's probably been about a year and a half, almost 2 years. I do apologize for that, but that's what this video is about, to provide everybody with an update on what's been going on with my life. Also, I would like to thank any of my new subscribers out there. There's only been a handful of them since I've been away. I have had a few drop, but I've had a handful more join, so I really do appreciate that. And I do want to take this time to give an update on what's happening. You guys should have an idea of what kind of happened from the thumbnail here. Also, just to give everybody a heads up, the reason I'm looking down is I have some notes here on my iPad, so I just want to make sure I get everything conveyed out to everybody as best as I can. So where have I been? Well, on Sunday, March 24th, 2024, I was here. I'm in my camper here down at Atwood in the Muskegon watershed, and I was here unloading firewood, and I felt my left side kind of go numb. Oh, not kind of, it went numb. Everything from my ear, side of my face, left arm, my back, my side, my leg, everything on the left side went numb and was tingling. So while I was doing that, I felt, okay, I need to get something, I need to get home. And I finished unloading my firewood, finished closing up the camper for the weekend, and got in the truck and went home. So got home and was really hoping that everything was, just kind of work itself out. That maybe I was hungry, maybe it was blood sugar, maybe it was, who knows. So we went to a local bar and had some dinner, and I drank water, and things seemed to be a little better, so I wasn't as concerned. Went to bed that night and woke up on Monday morning, and my wife had already gone to work. She gets up very early in the morning and heads to work, and the numbness and the tingling was worse. Like I said, down my entire left side. I still could move it. I had full function. Just everything was numb. So I called my wife, let her know what was going on. Of course, I'm worried, I'm scared, things are going on. And she's like, call the squad. So I hung up with her and I called the squad. Squad came and came to my, parked in front of my house, lights going, everything. And I walked down to the end of the driveway and met them there, believe it or not. And they asked me a series of their questions that they need to ask me. Do I have chest pain? Do I have difficulty breathing? Is there anything going on that they should know about from, unable to move or speak or anything like that? And everything was fine, just the numbness on my left side. So went from there. They put me in the squad and hooked me up to all sorts of things for my heart, checking to make sure that my heart was functioning right, and then took my blood pressure. And my blood pressure, believe it or not, was 264 over 136. I am very lucky to be alive. I had more than one medical professional tell me they've never seen somebody's blood pressure that high and survived. And what I came out with was a minor stroke. They called it a TIA. I don't remember what a TIA stands for, but it essentially called it a minor stroke. So they got me to ER and wheeled me in, laid me on the bed, and proceeded to give me pills to try and get my blood pressure down, medication to get my blood pressure down. Came in and did all sorts of tests on my heart, EKGs, did x-rays, did sonograms, did all kinds of stuff on my heart. Heart was fine. So they continued to try to get my blood pressure to come down. It wasn't coming down. So they wheeled me onto another room at ER, and I was in there for probably a couple of hours. And every 15 minutes, the machine's taking my blood pressure, and my blood pressure wasn't really getting down to where they wanted it to be. So they explained to me that they need to put me on an IV to give me some different medication to try and get my blood pressure down. However, if they do that, they had to admit me and put me in ICU to keep an eye on me while I was on that medication, especially if, or especially that when my blood pressure came down and they weaned me off, they wanted to keep an eye on me for that, I guess, side effects or whatever. And they never really explained it to me. And maybe they did, and I don't remember. I don't know. So they put me on the drip, and my blood pressure, after a couple of hours laying there, my blood pressure came down to 170 over 95. That's as low as they could get it at that point. Of course, they admitted me. At this time, it's like early evening, maybe like 6 o'clock. So I was in the ER all day long while they're running a series of tests, all sorts of things. They actually did a CT scan on me, and I believe they did an MRI on me as well. So I was in the ER. They got my like I said, my blood pressure down to 170 over 95, and then got me a room in ICU. Wheeled me up to my room, which was a very large room. It was a really nice room, and the room itself was actually the room that they put all of their COVID patients in ICU. So it would actually seal off. We activated it one time by accident. Closed the door and we did something, or my wife closed the door and did something, and this alarm went off and the room pressurized or something happened. I'm not sure. An alarm went off and the nurse came running in to make sure everything was okay. And we're like, all's good. She just did this and this. And they said, yeah, it'll do that. We'll deactivate it. So that's where it was. So nice room. So at the hospital, I had a CT scan done as well on my brain. They were looking for either a brain bleed or blockage or something. And unfortunately, I guess, I don't know if it's my first time, they give you earplugs and listen to music and all that kind of stuff. But because they were doing a brain scan, they couldn't do that because they had to put this halo thing or whatever the heck it was over my head, and just gave me just regular earplugs, little foam ones, and stuck in my ear. And so I'm laying in this thing, and it's just thump, 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 doing its thumping. If you guys have ever had one, you'll understand what I'm saying. If not, it's no fun. If you're claustrophobic, it's no fun. I'm not really claustrophobic, but I'm just glad there was air blowing over my face, because I looked up one time, and that thing was literally like 3 inches from my face, and I was like, okay. So I had to lay there still. It was maybe 5-10 minutes max, but I was laying there. So they got that done, and the doctor comes in, neurologist comes into my room and explains to me that I do have a blockage in my lower left lobe here. The vessel is too small for them to do a stent in it. So what they ended up doing was just leaving it the way it is, and they've put me on blood thinners and, of course, a lot of blood pressure medication. I'm on, I think, like 7 or 8 pills in the morning and 3 more pills in the evening. So I'm on a lot of stuff here. Although, I will say my last doctor's appointment, I get a doctor's appointment every 6 months, blood work, go see my doc, great guy. And my last one, my blood pressure was actually down to 118 over 80, which I am ecstatic about. Because over the past year and a half, every doctor's appointment I was at, it was either 170 over 90, or it was like 160 over 85 or 89, or it was 140 or 135 over like 89 or 90 or something like that. And they had me take my blood pressure at home as well, and it was just up and down and stuff. So this last one I was pretty excited about. Anyways, so everybody at the hospital was fantastic. They treated me well. I don't recommend going and laying in a hospital. I was there for a total of 6 days. Uh, Checked in on Monday, checked out on Saturday, and it was not fun. I am not on any type of diet that they've put me on. My doctor wants me to watch my sodium. So there for a while I was watching well, not for a while, I still am watching my sodium. My wife did a great job. I was calling her the salt Nazi, but she did a fantastic job keeping us, with low sodium or no sodium. She came along with me and did the meals with the no sodium, and it was difficult, very difficult. The food didn't taste good. It was bland. We put tons of black pepper on it, or sriracha, or whatever we were eating. We're trying to keep the sodium down, but it was not good. So we try to watch our salt, low sodium, walk. I did join a gym, so I'm burning a lot of sodium that way, and I drink a lot of water. The last 2 times I went, my sodium levels were great, so I'm good there. So when I got home from the hospital after the 6th day, I came home from the hospital and I was walking like an old man. Like, picture 100-year-old man walking all hunched over, taking little tiny baby steps, things like that. Well, that was me for about 2 weeks. They had me on so many other medications. They had me on beta blockers as well. I'm still on beta blockers, one in the morning and one in the evening. But I was on like 3 in the morning and 3 in the evening, and my heart rate is low anyways. But I have a Garmin watch with a heart monitor on it, and my heart rate is typically in like the low 60s, high 50s anyways. And there were times my heart rate was dipping down to like 42, 43 in the middle of the night. I'd wake up in the morning and go pee, and when I got up and I sat up, I couldn't just stand up because I was lightheaded and I had like tunnel vision. So I would sit there on the edge of the bed and try to get everything, orientated, and then stand up, and then I had to grab onto the wall and the dresser, the bed, and then the bathroom wall or the bathroom door, and then, make my way into the bathroom, and it was still tunnel vision, and it was very scary. And I explained that to the doctor after, I think I did a couple of 3-month visits at the very beginning. And so he started peeling me off of that pretty quickly because that was too low for my heart rate to be at. Now my heart rate is usually around, like I said, 60, 62, 63. When I go and work out, I go walk or whatever, it rarely gets up to like 105. That's high if it gets up to like the 105 or 110 for me, which I try to push it to get my heart rate going. But that's what beta blocker, and my natural heart rate is low anyways. So yeah, I was walking, like a hunched old man, baby steps. And my wife and I knew I had to get out and walk, and I had to, get oriented and get my balance back, get everything back to normal. And so we live on a cul-de-sac, and we would do laps around the cul-de-sac. And it took forever for me to walk around the cul-de-sac. It was just a slow go around the cul-de-sac and moving, and I did that for about 2 weeks, every night walking around a cul-de-sac, and finally was able to walk normal. The reason I was just doing it so slow is I didn't have my balance. Equilibrium was off. I wasn't like I was weak. I've never lost dexterity in anything. I can move my hands. I still have strength. But I was on so many meds and so many things. Like, even my doctor didn't want me driving. I probably didn't drive for at least a month. So that would have been like, April? I probably didn't drive till into March. in April was probably the first time I actually drove. And then I work like 62 miles away from where I live. And they said, we definitely don't want you driving long distances. So I didn't go in the office until like July, before I had a doctor's appointment in July of that year, and they actually had released me and said you can start driving again. And I told him, I said, I feel pretty good about driving, so let's do that. So I was driving long distance then, and have been driving ever since, doing fine. So I'm kind of rambling here. I apologize for that. So what am I doing now to try and keep my blood pressure down as low as I can, besides all the medication that I'm on? Well, I'm here at our permanent site at Atwood Campground, Atwood Lake Campground, Muskegon Watershed, here in just south of Canton, Ohio. And that's my happy place. I know my stress. I got to keep my stress level down. I got to keep things just in order and try and enjoy life. And this is where I feel good. I feel comfortable. I feel really good when I'm camping, sitting by the fires. My best friend is a campsite, about 3 campsites that way, and my nephew and his wife and kids are 2 campsites that way, and I enjoy it here. I get relaxed, sit around a campfire. Yes, I have a beer, a bourbon. I tell you a story about my neurologist told me about but he asked me during our last visit, he's like, hey, what, you drink any alcohol, anything like that? I'm like, yeah, I have, a beer here and there. But I like my bourbon, I'll drink a bourbon maybe once or twice a month. And he goes, you're on blood thinners. Make sure you drink that bourbon. He goes, that's a natural blood thinner. That's fine. So I kind of chuckled and I go, well, would you write me a script for that so I can have a bottle of bourbon sitting on my desk at work and drink bourbon? And he goes, no, I won't do that. But I did have to tell my boss that, and they thought that was kind of funny. Just camping. I'm trying to keep my stress level down. I'm doing my best, what I call, to not be so passionate about things. And what I mean by that is specifically at work, or driving, or personal life. I get worked up. Like work, people, if they don't do their job, or they're not doing what they say, or they go against what things that should be right. Like I'm a director of cybersecurity, infrastructure, or IT security. For a medical company, healthcare company. So I've got a lot of responsibility to try and keep our clients' data and all of our data safe. And if I get people that just don't want to help do fix things or remediate vulnerabilities or whatever, I get all worked up and I get kind of pissed off, and people continue to not want to do their job. And it frustrated me. Now I just told my boss, I go, I care about my job. I truly, truly do. But I don't care anymore if people don't want to do their job. I will do my best to get them to do their job. But if they refuse to, I'm going to move on. If I'm on a conference call, and I've done it, if I'm on a conference call and somebody's acting the way I don't like because they don't agree with whatever, or even though I present the facts and present the data that this is the way it should be, I hang up and I move on and I do something else. I have to do that for me, for my health, and for my life, from a work perspective. I really enjoy what I do. But some of the people there where I work, just like every other company, there's some frustration going on. Driving, again, I said I work 62 miles, so it's 62 miles each way through Akron, Ohio, and some parts of Canton, and it's just a nightmare with all the drivers, and I can't deal with it sometimes. So nowadays I just put my cruise control on, and I get in. It's a 3-lane road pretty much the whole way up there. I get in one of the lanes that I can just go and stay out of my way, and I stay out of theirs, and I just try and go. And what frustrates me is the way people drive, and I just try to hang back and just do my thing and get to work and get home. That's another thing. And then personal life, I try not to get all worked up. I mean, my wife and I have been married for 34 years, and we've gotten on each other's every last nerve from here until Tuesday. I love her so much. I can't explain how much I love her. But, I know she frustrates me, and I frustrate her, and I do my best to try to not do that anymore. It's tough. It really is tough, but I got to try and bring that down. And also eating better. I don't look like it, but I'm trying to eat better, walk better. In fact, I got plans to go on a hike here. They got some cool paths here, and they've got a nice pine forest here. So I'm hoping to get there and take a little day pack with me and a trash bag and a small saw and my bushcraft knife. And I'm gonna try and gather some fat wood. I've been getting into bushcrafting over the last 2 or 3 years. Just because I haven't been videoing doesn't mean I haven't been doing stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna try and gather some fat wood and bring it back and process it. I'll try and get some video of that as well, and go from there. So yeah, those are kind of what I'm trying to do, and get, just to bring my blood pressure down. Now, I'm not going to preach to you. I'm not going to preach to anyone about your health, about going to see the doctor or anything like that, because I did not like going to the doctor. I just was scared to death of them, to be very honest with you. So I'm not going to preach to you about it, but I do just ask you, go see. If you haven't seen a doctor in a while, go see one. And I would like to thank all of you for being here, listening to me ramble today about my stroke and about things that happened to me over the last year and a half. But seriously, hug your loved ones, hug your wife, hug your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your kids, your best friend, whoever, because tomorrow's not promised. It is not promised. On March 24th, 2024, I almost didn't see tomorrow. God honest truth. I was so very lucky. So very lucky. So, yeah, it's enough of that. Love you guys. Appreciate it. I do have plans to start trying to get videos out once a week. I'm going to do my best to do that. I've already got one backpack trip, just a one night overnighter to do down at Mohican. That's already planned and booked, reserved. Now you guys can reserve sites down at Mohican. It was just a first come, first serve. Now they're reservable. And I'm going to do some bushcrafting, some tips and tricks, do some reviews of I've got some new equipment. I don't know if you noticed, I got a DJI mic. I went and bought the mic minis. Really like them a lot. I've got the new iPhone 17 Pro Max, killer phone. That's what I'm videoing on right now. Got a tripod. I've got just a handful of other knickknacks and stuff that I want to share with everybody and do some reviews. So I appreciate you coming, listening to me ramble today. God bless and take care. And don't forget, Sinchuwus outside. Go have some fun. Take care.